What is up, guys? We're back with another video, and today we're checking out this keyboard right here, which is the Redragon ARTEMIS K719 anime keyboard. And as you can see, very much anime themed. So let's go ahead and take a look. Now, to start things off, inside the box, you're going to find the keyboard itself, a USB-A to USB-C cable, keycap and switch puller, 4 extra switches, a set of stickers, and of course, your user's guide. Now, this is a full-size keyboard, but it has a 96% layout, so we have a total of 95 keys. So the keyboard is shrunk about 20% to take up less space on your desk. Now, if you're wondering about the official dimensions, I'll go ahead and put them up on the screen here like I always do. Now, when it comes to keys, you are going to miss a handful of keys, specifically the ones that typically sit above your arrow keys. Now, the thing that really makes this keyboard stand out, of course, is the design on the keycaps, which is definitely anime themed. We have a character on the front, which appears on the left side of the keyboard as well as on the spacebar. And then we have a combination of dark gray, red, and green designs, which make up the rest of the keys. The legends on the keycaps are white. I feel overall the design goes together quite well. The keycaps themselves are PBT keycaps in an OEM profile, which I actually love to see because they're not going to show shine or wear. Under these keycaps, we find our switches are what Redragon are calling their Hi-Fi custom switch. This is a linear switch that has an actuation point of 2 millimeters and a total travel of 3.3 millimeters. These switches are pre-lubed, and if you're wondering, the keyboard is hot swappable, so you can switch out the switches down the line if you want to. In the top right corner of the keyboard, you are going to find a small screen, which we'll get into in just 1 second, and a pretty nifty control knob. In between the main area of the keyboard and the number pad, you'll also find 4 indication LEDs. When it comes to the little display here, by default, it will show you your time, your date. It's also going to show you your battery level and indications of like caps lock, num lock. So if we hit caps lock, you can see that little indicator turn on and off. We also have indication LEDs right here as well. Now we can switch from the clock. By default, this knob will be just your volume, so it's going to turn your volume up and down. But if we press on it, press down, and we go to the home, we can switch between the time and a GIF. And you can set your own GIF. This is the default one. But now we have a little animated GIF there. If we go back in, we can switch it back to the time. And then we have some options for the lighting on the keyboard too. So we go in here, we can go to effect, and we can cycle through all the different effects that are on the keyboard. So you can select the effect that you want. We can also go to color, so you can select the color that you want. You can go to brightness and select, how bright the backlighting is. You can set the speed. You can set the language that this menu is going to be in. And then you can select the layout between Windows or Mac. And you can set the time format as well. So if you want 24-hour time or 12-hour time, and I believe that is it. Oh, you can also set the time, and then you can, just return to the main menu. So really simple, doesn't show a whole lot, but it is cool that you do get the screen on this keyboard. Looking at the keyboard from the side, you can see how tall the OEM keycaps are and how the keyboard sits at a slight angle. You get 2 levels of adjustment with the pop-out feet on the bottom of the keyboard. Also on this side of the keyboard, you'll find a USB-C connection to either charge the keyboard or use it in wired mode, as well as a toggle switch to choose between 2.4 gigahertz wireless, wired, or Bluetooth modes. The opposite side of the keyboard houses your 2.4 gigahertz USB dongle, which can easily be removed. Now on the top edge of the keyboard, you'll find an interesting design in red. Flipping the keyboard over, we have a full-on printed design of the same anime character we've seen throughout this keyboard, and I think it looks absolutely awesome. There are large rubber feet to keep your keyboard in place, as well as our pop-out feet. So here is the Redragon software that you'll use to fully reprogram this keyboard. Now it is worth mentioning you can use this software and reprogram everything while the keyboard is in wireless mode. So some keyboards you have to plug in the USB to do all your changes. You don't have to do it here. So at the top here, it lets us know that we are connected via wireless and our battery level, which is at 66%. We have a live view of our keyboard, and then we have our profile over here. So you can add different profiles. Like if you have a gaming profile, a typing profile, you can, set all your profiles there very easily. The first tab here or button is going to be your light settings. You can set, there's a handful of effects, but it's per key as well. So you can select a key and set it to do what you want. But as you change this, it will show you what the effect is and everything like that. So you can go ahead and do that. You can set your brightness and then the speed of effect. And if it is an effect, you can also set, like if it goes from left to right, from right to left, pretty easy to, set up all of your lighting settings. Now, under the button settings, this is where you're gonna fully reprogram the keyboard. You can reprogram every key on here, except for, of course, that function key, because when you press that, that brings up your alternate functions. And if you click on any button here, we'll just select G. We can have a default function, mouse key, fire key. There's a bunch of different things you can do. Office keys, macros, which I'll get into, multimedia keys, and system functions. So we get into system functions, like you can have a key that like shuts down your keyboard, or if we go to office key, we can do like open, new, save, cut, like all that kind of stuff. Very easy to go ahead and reprogram this. And of course you have like your default functions or your like mouse keys. You have standard keyboard, so you can reprogram into anything on the keyboard. Really easy to go ahead and do that. Now, under macro management, this is where you're going to create and record macros, save your macros. Everything is going to be saved in here. So really easy to record macros and add macros and save them and do all of that. Under your other settings, you have N key rollover, which you should always have turned on. We have exchange key, and then we have Windows lock. So you just press on these and that enables it. So this would lock the Windows key. So you definitely want to turn that on if you are gaming, so you don't, accidentally hit that Windows key and then tab out of your game. Then we have set the window keyboard property. This brings up the keyboard properties within Windows. So when you click that, it brings up this little, within Windows, brings that up. And then you have your report rate, which you should always have set at 1000 Hertz, but you have options there. And then under the view screen, this allows you to add a custom image or a custom animation or GIF to the screen that's actually on the keyboard itself. Really easy to just like add something in. If you click on picture, even they have picture spelled wrong, it looks like. But if you click on picture, you can just add a normal picture. If you click on animation, you can add a GIF. Really easy to go ahead and do that. And then you just upload it to the keyboard and save it, and you're good to go. Again, this lets you know what profile you're on, and then you can export your settings. You can copy your settings. You can reset. You can delete your profile or your settings, and then you can import different settings as well. So really easy software, really easy to fully reprogram this keyboard and set the different lighting effects. Not that it's really needed on this keyboard, but you do get per key RGB lighting here, a ton of different effects to choose from. I think it looks good overall, but I would probably just make the RGB lighting one color. Just gonna look better with the keycap design on this keyboard. No keyboard review would be complete without a sound test. So here's what it sounds like to type on this keyboard. So I've been using this keyboard for the past few weeks now, and I actually really like it. Now, when you see a keyboard like this, just sometimes you're kind of like, this is a little gimmicky. And if you actually look at this keyboard, like if you're not an anime fan, you're gonna be like, this is super gimmicky. But if you are an anime fan, I think the design looks absolutely amazing, especially the design on the back of the keyboard, even though you're not really gonna see it all that much. But the biggest thing when it comes to the keyboard is how the keyboard actually feels. And this keyboard is actually extremely comfortable to type on and to game on. Talking about gaming, that 2.4 gigahertz dongle worked no problem. I didn't have any input lag problems or anything like that. Of course, that's going to be incredibly important while you're gaming, so no issues there. The sound profile on this keyboard is actually quite good too. That has a lot to do with all the sound dampening that is in the keyboard itself. So it feels good, it sounds good. The software makes it really easy to fully reprogram the keyboard or, and all of that. Set up your lighting and do all of that. You do get the screen here. That's kind of just like a nice little add-on, and the knob. I like the knob for volume, just makes it really easy to switch your volume or adjust your volume there. The only thing that I really didn't like about this keyboard is that because they've shrunk it down about 20%, you do lose a handful of different keys. And if you're somebody who makes use of those keys a lot, you're going to be like, you know, where is it? Like, I use print screen all the time. There's no print screen on here, so you have to reprogram another key to be your print screen. So that's one thing I didn't like, but you know, you do get the best of both worlds because you get a smaller keyboard that's going to take up less space on your desk with still getting the full number pad, which a lot of people can't live without. So I definitely like that. I think if you are looking for like an anime themed keyboard that's a mechanical keyboard that just does its job, this is definitely going to be it. Now, I will have links below where you can go ahead and pick this keyboard up, as well as a link to our full written review over at ThinkComputers.org. Now, if you have any questions about this keyboard, leave it in the comment section below, and we'll see you guys in the next video.